All right, go ahead, Miho.
Yes. Okay. Started from little warming up. Just a jog. And then little high knee. Open up, right side. And back, kick back. And then jump. Just leg. Add arms. Change the leg. In the arm. Change the leg. Okay. All right. So your right side. Today we're gonna do a hip exercising, hip rotation. So it's like a loosen up like a open right now. And then close, open, as much as possible open without knee is going forward, like a knee stay this way, and then open, and then close. Like a rotate so hard. Look behind. Come back. Bend more. Deep. If you can, front leg up to front it. Like a toe, tip toe, both. Yeah. And then stand up, straight up, and then start from your waist and down. And a little bit pause. Up and down, little. Try to be straight your knee, front knee, straight. Another side. And open, open, open. Stay knee. Another side. Stay knee the position and then open up. And then close. And look behind. Oh. And then come back. And then down. And maybe tiptoe both foot. And a little pause. And then stand up, going down, waist. It's not like a, well, not you know, like a, how can I say, roll your back straight and bend. And then try to touch if you can. Going your left side. And go back to the center. And then go other side. Go back in the center, and then walk forward, and then go down. Whew. And then come back halfway, and then look like this. Push, and the hamstring and the calf straight, and then push, push, push hip up, and then slowly come back. Okay, rotate. Big movement. Come back small. And rotate the arms. Feet. Other direction. And straight your, and grab your right leg, right arm, wrist, and then go bend a little, and then stay this hip this way, and then pull this side muscle. Other side. Don't go this, stay this side, hip outward. Okay. All right, and then little leg shake, rotate one side, rotate other side, back and forth, side by side. Okay, so starting exercise. Today we're gonna focus on hip rotation, because hip rotation is important because, you know, we have to use a total body mass to hit something or someone. So like a hit someone, something from your ground to your leg muscle, and then if you use hip rotation, you connect the power from leg to the punch or something hit. So like, you know, Will Smith hit Chris Rock using hip rotation. So that's why, you know, the Chris Rock was like a sway like this, lots of power. But the thing is the Chris Rock too, you know, he not stumble. So maybe he used hip rotation to ease the little impact. I don't know, but you know, it's very important to use hip rotation. So first, in a karate, you have to fix your leg, knee, if you stand in front, and then move the only hip. But now, just, you know, easing up rotation, hip rotation. So that's just easy rotation like this, 10 times, and then try to move your arm with hip. Okay, so this side, like going your right side. Oh no, this one, the left side. Left side, open up, like move this shoulder with your hip rotation. Start from this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other side, try to move you have so much power to rotate the hip, so that's why your arm, without moving your arm intentionally, the arm will move. Okay. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10. Notice you're kicking ground. At the time you want to try to move your shoulder with hip, you're kicking ground with your foot. So like that, your power come from leg and initiate punch. And then like a karate, you fix the knee front, and then hand beside your waist, and then like move it. So your left side punch first, like this. Okay. Try to not move the knee like this, solid knee, and then like try to punch. Okay. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10. So notice you're using a thigh muscle to push your hip. So all this muscle, thigh muscle to upper body, and then waist, like a stomach muscle, and then oblique, you use all muscle from knee and up.
So Pete, pay a little bit closer attention to leaving your knees where they are without letting them collapse when you turn, okay?
Okay, the other side, your right side, go this. Okay, right side punch. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10. Okay, next, like a open close. So 1 is 1. Okay, so start from your left side punch. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、あと一つね、10。そう。こっちがレフトです。向こう。違う。And then this your right side. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10. Notice your belt is moving. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. And then going front stance, your left leg forward. So 1、2、1、2. So it's 1 by 1 punch. 追い突き、逆突き. Open, close.
So make solid stop on each one of those punches. So pretend like there's a metal stop in your hip that you're collapsing onto, and it has nowhere else to go. So there's no residual vibration or anything like that. It just stops. 1, then stops 2. Yep. And when you turn backwards, try to bend your back knee a little bit so that you don't raise up.
Yep. So you don't do this.
That too, yep.
So use your thigh muscle to push. Okay. All right, so start from your left. 逆突き first. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10.
Peter, can you exaggerate a little bit more that hip rotation rearward?
All right.
Yeah, without letting the front knee collapse, obviously. So if you can go just a little bit more, it might give you a little bit more push off of the back when you drive in your reverse punch. All right, go ahead and switch legs.
Switch leg. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10. Switch leg. So next is a bam bam. So 逆突き、構え first, 逆突き position, and then 1, 2. So open close, open close.
So this one here, I want you to over exaggerate the hip rotation. Even if your front knee moves a little bit, I think that'd be okay. What we're trying to do is really focus on getting that hip to open more than what you're normally used to.
Back knee don't move. Okay.
All right, Masa, hey, come up to the front.
Yeah.
And train right next to her so I can see your hip too. Oh, he's wearing all black, so I can't tell. All right.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
All right.
Okay. So start 2 together. So 逆突き first, and then
Reverse punch
追い突き
first.
逆突き
Reverse punch, Masa.
reverse punch, and then 追い突き逆突き 1 count.
Reverse punch, Pete. Other hand, Pete. There you go. Other hand, Mike. There you go. 2 punches after this.
1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10. Notice your belt moving without crossing your knee.
All right, so Mijo, notice in your when you're doing this in your video, notice that you're actually coming up a little bit when you do your reverse, when you do your jab. So what's happening is when you rotate to the rear, you're not bending your knee enough to keep yourself at the same level. Okay. So as you jab, you got to really focus on bending that knee a little bit more from where you are.
Stay high. Okay.
Yeah. And what it does is, I'm not so concerned about the up and down as much as I'd like to see you have more leg drive to drive in that gyakuzuki. Yeah. So if you bend that a little bit more, you get a little bit more leg drive in the gyakuzuki. Okay.
All right. So gyakuzuki position first, and then oizuki gyakuzuki 1 count. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10. Hip rotation, hip rotation. Yeah. Going back to the other leg. And then 上げ受け逆突き。Rising rock and 逆突き。Open close. 1 count. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10. Other leg. All right. Yes, position first. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10. やめ。Shake your leg. Shake your hip. And then come back to the left leg forward. soto uke, gyakuzuki, 1 count. So start from gyakuzuki position, the reverse punch position, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Change the leg. Started from gyakuzuki, reverse punch, and then outside, inside block, and then gyakuzuki. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stand up, shake, and change the leg. Uchiuke, open, close gyakuzuki. Starting on gyakuzuki first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, Pete, your front knee is really collapsing a lot.
8, 9, 10. Change the leg.
All right, Pete, I want you to get, can you put your right knee on your, on that side wall that's right to your, on your left side there? See a little opening there? Yeah, can you put your left knee on that opening? No. Or right knee, sorry. There you go. Yeah, don't let it collapse.
No, I all right. Start to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Other hand, Pete.
10. Stand up, shake.
So in order to do this opening of the hip without the knee collapsing, you have to disengage that muscle that holds your groin area to your inner thigh. So you have to open that up and release that. If you keep that groin muscle tight, where it's really tight to the all the way down the leg into your middle, then what'll happen is that everything you move in the back of the hip will drag your front knee inward when you make that turn. So everybody turn your hip all the way to the front and really squeeze your groin muscle really tight and try and pull your rear hip as far forward as possible when you do this. So squeeze your inner thighs together really tight. Now open your rear hip and leave that muscle really tight. No, I want you to do it wrong. We're going to do it wrong right now. So squeeze your thigh or inner thigh groin muscle and turn your hip all the way to the front. Squeeze it really tight to each other. Mijo, even more. Squeeze your left leg into your right leg. There you go. Good. Now I want you to take and open your hip up without releasing that muscle. No, without releasing the muscle. Yeah, Mijo, you're doing it. You're trying to do it right. I want you to do it wrong.
Oh, okay.
Now go back. Everybody go back. Squeeze that groin muscle really tight. Trying to squeeze your left leg to your right leg. Now do not release that and bring your right hip backwards. Yeah, you're still trying to do it right, Mijo. Don't do it right. I want you to do it wrong.
Okay.
Which brings that knee inside because it's so connected to the right side hip. So now squeeze it really tight with your hip forward. Hip forward. Squeeze your thighs really tight. Now, as you start to open that right hip, release that muscle and leave the knee right where it was. And push, actually, Pete, push that knee to the outside a little bit. So change the emphasis of the inside to the outside as you open that hip up. There you go. Yep, good. All right, that's my 2 cents. So what causes that knee to collapse on itself is that you're still holding on with your groin muscle to the leg. And when you open that backside hip up, it pulls the front knee with it to the inside.
Your knee move because you didn't release this muscle.
No, it's actually the front muscle, Miho. So it's the inner groin on the left side. Yeah, right there. Yeah, that.
Our right side. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, keep going. You got about 5 more minutes till it's Mima's turn.
Right?
I think we just did that one. I think we just did that one.
Okay, so down block, reverse punch. Okay, so Yakuza first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Stop for a second, Miho. Let me put everybody on the video so everybody can see their ways, so they can check it when we're watching the video at a later date. Okay. All right. Go ahead. Start from the beginning again, from down below.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Other side. Yeah. So Gyakuzuki. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stand up, shake. コークス立ち。コークス立ち。手刀。And then front stance. リバース抜き手。Open, close. Open, close. Started from 逆抜き手 first, the position first, and then count start. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10. Send the leg.
All right, I like it. Most of you are pivoting on the heel, which is good. I like it. On the back leg.
Okay. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10. Okay, little shake. All right. Little break and then drink water. I'm going to a couple minutes beyond because I did warm up, and then Mima said yes. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because yeah, we're gonna stop a quarter after. So good.
Yeah, quarter after. So.
Okay.
All right. Shake. Rotate your knee. Rotate the other side. Front and back. Front and back. Side to side. A little rotate waist or hip. Okay. All right, come back in a position. So the Basai Dai is using a lot of hip rotation, and I just pick the couple movement to practice hip rotation. First is after this first movement, we're going to back and open uchiuke and close uchiuke, and it's like a more like a rotate. Too much rotation, what's it called? Over rotate your hip to close. So we're gonna start that one. So it's like this. Start from here, and then 1, 2. That's the one count. So when I count 1, you're going to open, close. Okay, start from here. 1. Go back. 2. Go back. 3. Go back. 4. Go back. Go. Go back. Look. Go back.
All right, Peter, you got to really close that hip on the second uchiuki, all right? And you're still leaving it open.
Yeah, close. On overload.
Okay,
Okay.
a few more.
Sit. Go back. Head. Go back. Good.
Hold on a second, Miho. Stay there, Peter. Now, I want you to take that belt knot and move it to the left side of your wall unit. Yeah, there. Yes, there. There you go. Now I can tell you're at least neutral with your belt knot. There you go. Good.
Okay.
2 more.
Last one, Jill. Okay, so
Yes, Peter. Nice job. All right, that's it.
after this, last uchiuke, over rotate, we go open, look at the behind, and then close and open, uchiuke, uchiuke, sotouke, uchiuke. So that's the one count. So start from over rotate uchiuke. 8. Oh, I shouldn't move too much today. Okay. 2.
All right, so everybody think about taking your right hand, driving it to the back of the room, and then fully pull it. I'm seeing a lot of folks just kind of leave it halfway out. Fully pull it to the hikite and then do the next one. So make sure you pull that right hand all the way to your right hip before you finish. Pete, don't step forward, just mate, okay?
All right. 3.
Mary, we're doing sotuki uchiuki. Sotuki left, uchiuki right.
4. Go.
All right, so Peter, you're the one I'm talking to right now. Pull that right hand to your hip on the first sotuki. Yeah. Go ahead, Miho.
Go. Go.
That's better, Peter. Good.
Look.
That's some good hip rotation there, Mary. I like it.
Sit. Hut. Good.
All right, Mijo, you're getting lazy with your right hand again. It's going to the middle of your belly. Bring it all the way to your hip.
Okay.
A few more times. A few more times.
Cute.
Oh, that was even worse.
Ooh.
You brought it to your left hip, not your right hip. Think of when you send your right hand to the back, think of grabbing something and pulling it. There you go. Yep, good. Think of you grabbing their arm and pulling it so you can smash their back of their elbow and break their arm.
That's one, two.
There you go.
And then after this, going up, the leg up,
Open.
open, sotoke open, and uchuke close so hard. So that's why your front leg is moved because to rotate, over rotate too much. So from sotoke, so your front leg a little moving, over rotate your hip.
Yeah, Mima, don't move the leg and then turn the hip. Use the hip to move the leg. Don't even think about moving the leg. It just moves because it has to.
Okay, so boom.
Now you're moving the foot first. Don't move the foot first, Mijo or Mima. Use the hip to just pull it back.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
8. Right.
So Pete, left leg, right leg forward. Okay, now you're gonna scoop the right leg to your right. Scoop to your right. There you go. Sotoke uchuke. There you go. Good. Yep.
No bend, no bend. Okay. All right. Yep.
And also, Pete, send your left hand to your right side so you got something to pull with. No, no, no. Send your left hand to your right side. Point it right at his face. No, right at his face while you're scooping.
6.
Yeah.
Go. So if move hip, you have to concentrate, move hip. So that's why your move is a little bit faster than the 1, 2. Open,
Mijo,
close, open, close.
Mijo, can you
So
show that left hand where it goes?
Left one.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. Smash, and then make sure everybody brings your left hand underneath afterwards to do the uchuke. Not just flip the elbows. Yes.
6. Go.
So
Look.
Pete, it's a sotoke, the first one, outside, inside.
6.
That's it. Good.
8. Good. Yeah. Okay, so next, it's usually if a hip rotation, you don't need to move the knee, but the next move, push and punch. Look at front or square to the front, punch, and preparation for the block, preparation block, and then move hip and leg to this. The last minute, last second, you have to do the uchuke and move. Open, close or open? It's closed, yes. Close uchuke and the side, going side. So push and then punch. That's a 1 count. So start from here. Little slightly bend your knee.
So everybody,
8.
left hand out. Left hand
hand
out,
out.
not right hand out, Mima. There you
Knee. Oh, sorry.
go. Peter, tate shuto, start with a punch, neutral hips with the punch, and then to go to the uchi-uke, closed hips.
3.
There you go, good. And make sure your right hand that's blocking is even with the side of your body, not just center of your head.
4.
Further to your right, Peter.
Go.
Yes, there you go. Good. Now
Stop.
you block whatever he's throwing at you.
6. 8.
Pete, go ahead and make sure your back foot moves and your back knee moves toward your left side.
9.
No, after the punch, when you make the block, turn everything to your left side.
2.
Yeah, there you go.
Other side. Send the hand from maybe from here.
Yeah, go from the uchi-uke. Yeah,
From
that'd be good.
uchi-uke. And then rotate the hip to straight forward. 1, 2, 3. That's the 1 count. So start from here. 8. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Start again. 2.
And Mary, try and keep that back foot on the ground too, if you can. Yeah, no, don't come up on the ball. Yep, there you go, good.
3. 4. 5.
So more advanced folks, try and pivot on the heel, not the ball, when you're doing the sideways.
So. Heel.
Yeah.
9. 10.
All right, so this stance, just to clarify, this stance is like a Zenku Tadachi going to your side. The only thing that's different is your arm position is off to the side instead of forward. So this is a front stance. Notice, look at Miho's stance. It's a front stance going to the front. So if she were to just move her hand and make it a Gyakzuki, yeah, that way, it's the same stance. Nothing changes. Now make it a Uchi-uke to the side. There you go. That's it. So it's a front stance. Now, granted, it is a little shorter front stance because it's from a standing up twist position, but it's still a Zenku Tadachi, kind of maybe just a little shorter than a normal one. All the feet positions, all the hip positions and knee positions are all the same as a front stance. And it's kind of like an inline front stance.
Okay, so last one. Last one is like a good for the going to the taking a brown belt up. But you know, we have to see the hip rotation really well in this move. One stop, back and down. So one. So you have to move the hip to hit something. So.
Okay, so in the final position, there isn't as much movement, but I'm good with practicing it with a very exaggerated hip vibration. But when you're all done with it, it's very minor. It's a really small ba-bum. Yeah. Okay, so let's do that in like 3 counts. to start off with. So
one,
close,
close,
open as you
and
go, and then close again. There you go.
so and then don't move up and down.
Yeah.
Stay this way. Bend the knee. Okay, start from one.
Now, as you
Two.
bring your arm up, open. As you bring back
And then
down,
three.
close again. There you go. Good.
One,
1 and
two,
2.
three. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
All right, so let's start
5.
taking the extra movement out of it and make it very slight, the hip opening part. 1, really small. There it is. Yep, really small.
So
Open,
it's going
close.
to be smooth.
Yeah,
1,
maybe even smaller than what you're doing there, Miho.
all right. 2.
So in the end position, you're ending facing your left side.
4.
Close, open, close. Mary, I'm not seeing any vibration at all.
5.
And you got to finish to the left. So your belt knot's facing 45. I want your belt knot facing the left, straight to the left. Yes, that way. Yeah. 1 up,
6.
close,
You're
open
going
up.
other.
Mary, you still have to do a slight open after the initial close.
Okay.
1 and finish to the left. Finish to the left.
Okay. So last one. 7. Okay, other side, and then finish this exercise. 1, 2, 3.
So really make it exaggerated.
1,
1, close. 2, as you lift
2,
your arm up, open. 3, as you push
and
your
then
arm
6.
down, close.
Close. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Mary, you're still out of sync a little bit. So close first, 1. Mary, there you go. Now, as you lift your left arm up, open your hip up. Now, as you drop your left arm, close your hip back to where it was. There it is. There you go. See if you can do that a little smoother on the next one. Here we go. So start open.
Open 1.
Close. Open, and then close again. So you got to time the close on the drop of the hand. Okay, a couple more slow count, full 3-point count.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
All right, now so let's start taking some of the extra movement out of it. Still 3 counts, Val.
1.
Make that
2.
open really slight. So it's like a bump bump instead of 1, 2, 3. Make it 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
There you go. That's it, Mary.
1,
I like
2,
that.
3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
So Peter,
Moving
your
up.
belt knot should end up straight to your right side. Yes. So even if you open it in the middle, it's got to close back to the right side. There you go at the very end. All right, so now all 1 count.
All right. 8, 2, 3, 4, 5、6、7、8、9、10. All right. Take your hip and break, and then take the Mima to take the bird.
All right, Mima, are you ready to take your portion?
Of course.
All right, let me make you the spotlight. Thanks, Miho. And you know what, this hip vibration movement that Miho was working on there, and the hip open and close, let me tell you, it's not as easy as it sounds, and just talking about it is not enough. You really have to put some mental training to it and put your brain in your hips, and maybe do it in front of a mirror, or maybe do it, you know, start your own Zoom class, record it on your computer, and you can kind of see your hip rotation, whether you're actually doing it right. You can also see if you're wearing your belt, you can see if the belt's doing this. You know, maybe the one side, as you open up the hip, the upper or the front hip comes up and the back hip goes down, or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe your back hip goes up because you didn't bend your knee, you know. So all that's part of the making some personal training there to try and get a little bit better at it. Okay. All right, Mima, you are ready to go.
Hi, okay, so I'm just gonna go through some hip mobility, strength, and flexibility exercises. It'll help with your kicks and your safety. Overall, it's just better to have flexible hips. Otherwise, during these, you might break something. So to start with, I'm just gonna go through, I know we're quite warmed up, but I want to warm up the hips a little bit more just in case you wanna bring these exercises home and then work on them and warm up your hips before you do a little bit of stretching. So to start with, we're gonna do something called a push-up squat. So spread your legs wide. I'm gonna bring the camera down. You don't really need to see my face for this. Spread your legs wide, not too wide, but a good over shikodachi kind of stance, straight legs. And then with a straight posture, try to keep the back of your neck pulled towards the sky. You're gonna bend down like this, hands in front of you, and squat like that. Good? All right. So we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Hey, Mima, go just a little bit slower. There are people with bad knees that need to go into it slowly, or else they might end up crashing their knees.
Okay. Hut,
That's better. Yeah.
Q, do. Right, let's do just a couple more. Each, knee, thumb, G, go, look, sit, touch, Q, do.
All right, let's do 10 more. Think of keeping your posture very tall, even though you may not be able to go down as far. Keep your posture as tall as possible and just kind of sink in as deep as you can, but do not kind of bend at the waist and bring your chest toward your knee. Just try and keep your posture tall.
10 more. Something that might help is think about your thighs, sort of like when we do a step forward, think about using these muscles and bringing them in, even though there's red wire. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah, that's much better.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 2. Right. Next, we're going to do something called a side plank. Get on your side. Make sure that your forearm is on the ground and aligned with the place of your shoulder. Put your feet on top of each other on the ground. If this is a little bit too hard on your hips, you can also just go like this for all of my counts. But it's good to just use your glute muscles and push yourself into the air. It'll help warm up your hips a lot. All right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Flip around to the other side. Forearm on the ground, shoulder aligned with the arm on the ground. Legs on top of each other. Hand on your hip if that helps. And move with squeeze your glute muscles while you move up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 2.
Uh-oh, we lost Peter.
We don't want to spend too much time warming up since we've already quite warmed up today, but you can also work on leg lifts like this to work the inner thigh muscles. I feel like that's one of the most helpful muscles to use when you want to have a good middle split or you want to raise your leg very high. So exercises like this or ones where you lay on your back, like doing this, are very helpful, but I want to skip on those today. Everybody stand back up. So I want to do something called hip controlled articular rotation. So what we're gonna do, this is helpful for the ones on the testings, where you kick forward to the side, do this, mashigeri, ushirogeri, so that you explore the entirety of your hip mobility. So if everybody can see, slowly move, bend in your left knee, and then move this other knee. This is the one we're going to be using, the right knee. Lift it up like a maigeri. And then you're going to move it out to the side, like this. And then you're going to rotate this leg so that the foot is facing backwards, like a mashigeri. And then you're going to bring it backwards over behind you, so the foot is pointing backwards. And then bring it back up, maigeri position.
Let
And
me
you want to do
suggest,
that whole sequence without bringing your foot down. And if you can, try to do that whole sequence without bringing your foot down for the whole 5 counts on each leg.
folks get a corner of a wall for some balance help, or a chair if you've got a chair close by. Okay, so show the sequence again, Mima.
Raise your
The
leg,
knee lift straight, open the hip up, point the knee to the side, lift the ankle up, Bring the hip or the knee down to the other knee. And then do you do one more lift or you just put it down? There you go.
Bring it back up, and that's the
All right.
whole.
And you retrace your steps from there. Okay, good.
Ready?
Any questions
Good.
from the team there? Okay, let's go.
All right.
So
number
notice that she's not doing a side snap kick. She's just opening her thigh or her groin up and leaving that foot straight facing down. So see how her foot's not, or her ankle is 90 degrees to her thigh. There you go. Then you rotate the ankle up, leaving that. Don't pull it in, Pete. Leave that knee out sideways. The foot should be pointing the back. There you go. Then drop the knee. Leaving the foot up and then lift the knee up again. There you go. Good.
All right. Let's do it all together. We're going to put the left knee is where all of our weight is going. So put a slight bend in it and tense in your core, flip it up under. That way you're going to keep a stable balance. So each up to the side, flip it around, bring it back, and then back here. Knee. Flip, down, and then back. Thumb. Chi. And go. Put that foot down. And then now we're going to use our left leg to do the articular rotation. Bend in this knee, tighten your core. Each out, flip it under, bring it back down, and then bring it back hip hold. Knee, out, rotate, down, and forward.
I'm gonna have to do this one once my hip recovers. This looks like a good one.
Yeah, really helpful. Chi. And go. Perfect. Maybe swivel your hips around if they're a bit sore. This.
Mary, how's that one on your hip? Oh, she's laughing.
It's something to work at because the left side bursitis is not happy.
Okay. Well, it could be a good strengthening exercise for you.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
It's a good exercise.
Thank you. We're gonna go to something more easy. I started with something a bit hard. So go down to the floor. This has 3 levels of how hard you want to do this. But the easiest one is put your butt on the ground, put your feet flat in front of you, and then you can use the support of your hands to just rotate from side to side. You don't really want to move your chest with it. You're going to keep your chest up and forward. Try not to move your chest, just move your legs side to side. If you want to make this harder, don't put your hands on the ground, put them in front of you. Move your hips side to side. And as you get better, you want to bring your ankles closer to yourself, and then you can see if you can still continue to move them all the way down, both knees to the ground.
So Mima, back up just a little bit toward the door. There you go, so everybody can see your feet. Yep. Notice how she's rolling from one side of her foot to the other side of her foot each time.
Yeah.
All right, let's try it.
We're just going to do a quick 10 of these to loosen the hips up. So 1、2、3、4、5. If this is feeling easier, you can bring your ankles closer. 6、7、8、9, and 10.
Notice how she has her feet outside of her hip line. See how her knees are kind of pointing outward and her feet are kind of pointing outward too, so there's room to rotate those knees inside of the feet. So if your knees touching your foot, it's a little bit too close for your legs. There you go. Do another 10 there, Mima.
And if you get really good at this and you have really strong hips, you can probably make yourself stand up without using your hands. But right now, I'm not there yet, I gotta admit. So from here, you'd be able to push yourself up into this sort of position without using your hands. So you can practice it by pushing like this for now. And also I'm gonna add a little something that's easier to this exercise. We're gonna squat up and then put our feet down. So similar sort of exercise, except now we're pushing up through and then doing this, what we were just doing. I'll demonstrate again. From here, move your hips to the sides like we were just doing. And then you're gonna push yourself up if you can. Move your feet around behind you and then sit back down. So that your feet make sort of like a clockwise sort of full turn underneath you. If it's hard, you can also just sit up like this and bring yourself back down and flip your legs around to match with us. Any questions? All right. Each up, move them around, sit back down, move your knees over to the other side. Knee, up, around behind you, sit down, move your knees over to the other side. Thumb, up, sit, go, look, sit, hut, cue, and do. Perfect. And from here, now I'm just gonna do some flexibility exercises. We're running out of time a bit. But the important thing is we need to combine the flexibility and all the strength exercises so that you can sort of not just do the splits with your hands like this or something if you want to, but you can also hold yourself up in this sort of like manner. It's good for a good strong stance like this too, because you can have a wide stance, but also hold yourself up. That's just me showing off. So for our final little stretches, since we can't probably do a full stretch sequence at the time, I'll just show you 2 stretches and we'll go through them very quickly. So put your legs and sit down on the ground. Move them as far apart as you can. but you don't want to feel any sharp pain. If it's a dull stretching sort of pain, that works. If it's sharp pain, that's just dangerous and don't push yourself through it. So the first one we're going to do is in this, we're going to try and rotate and create a large circle with our hands. Like this, like we're stirring a large pot. And you can put your hands on the ground and stir it, or you can sort of try and hold yourself up and stir it as well. So you can combine some strength and flexibility in that. Okay, we'll just do 5 around each way.
Everybody
So
try and
clockwise.
bend at your waist. So start with your shoulders pulled back. Notice how she's bending at her waist. I know many of you don't have that flexibility, but keep your chest up and bring your chest downward from the waist, not from the chest, and bending kind of in between at your solar plexus. See how tight her back is? So even if you can only go a couple degrees forward, keep your back straight.
Yeah. That's actually important for you. I was gonna say, I forgot. So let's go clockwise, 5 turns. Each knee, thumb, see, go, and then counterclockwise. Each knee, thumb, see, and go. Right? Bring your legs together, shake them out, you overstretch them. And one last thing I want to show you. You've probably seen like a frog pose in like yoga, where you bend your knees, you stand on your knees if you can. If your knees are in pain, I can find a different exercise. But if you can, sit on your knees, sort of seiza, and then split as far as you can without any sharp pain, and then lean on your elbows for support. And this is a frog stretch, and you're just sort of going to wiggle your hips down into it.
Can you turn sideways, Mima, to show your feet positions? Because I think your feet are supposed to kind of come straight from your elbow or knees, right?
Yeah. So they're sort of like this, and you
There you
can
go.
push back your hips into this for a further stretch. And like this. But if you want to go further into this stretch, a little advanced technique is to straighten one leg out of this frog stretch, and then reach underneath yourself and reach towards the foot. You can also do this even if you can't stretch that far, like this much. Go down, put your shoulder on the ground or your elbow on the ground and reach towards the foot, like this, if you can see. And then once you get better, shoulder on the ground, hand reaches towards the foot. And you can hold that for 20 seconds. I think we've already held it for 20 seconds. So move on to the other side, frog stretch, and then release your leg out if you can. Elbow on the ground if you're not stretching too far down. If you can stretch further down, shoulder on the ground, and reach towards the foot. And I think I might be at time. So from here, if you want, right after class, it's good to try that kicking drill or the testing one that we do with Maigeri, Yokukage, Yokukikomi, etc. because your hips will be really loose. That's all.
All right, that was really good, Mima. I appreciate it. Unfortunately, I couldn't do any of that. My doctor says no, no, no. And I appreciate, and I liked watching Pete do it because he's laughing at himself, going, "Man, I can't believe I can't do this." But yeah, it was good work. Hopefully everybody stayed within their realm, so they didn't injure themselves. And Mima, I thought you put it together very nicely and had some alternatives for folks that couldn't necessarily do everything as nicely as you can do it, because I noticed you've got some really good flexibility. So, all righty. Well, thanks everybody for coming. Appreciate it. And I think next week I talked about doing an in the park training. Unfortunately, I've got a full day of stuff after the class too. We could do it in the park, but we'd have to do it only for an hour, or we might be able, or we could pull it ahead a half an hour and still do the an hour and 15 minutes. I need to be back home by 11 so I can get changed and bug out. So we'll see. I'll put a proposal out there and let folks comment on it. And I'd really like to do it in the park if we can, and maybe just pull it ahead a half an hour. Okay. All right. Thanks, Miho. Appreciate it. Good work today, and we'll see you guys next